So let's jump right in. So when we're talking offensive run game or attacking here in the run game, okay, let's just draw the box here. And let's make it simple. Let's, again, stick with an Okie front. Okay, the rules will apply no matter what front you're in. You're going to have a set of rules, guys, for each blocking series that tells the guys up front what they need to do. Okay, so whenever we're running a run play, there's basically three things we can do to a defender. Okay, we can block him. Makes sense. We can read him, or we can leave him. Okay. An example of when we would leave a guy is, say we're running a wide receiver motion here, jet sweep this way. Well, I don't need to block whoever the edge defender or C-gap defender is over here. So we probably like gap off, meaning he would block this gap. If this guy went this way, I don't care about him. I'm running the ball outside the other way. So that would be a scenario where we leave a guy. Okay. Versus blocking a guy, we certainly, if we're running jet sweep this way, need to block the C-gap defender this way. Okay, and the edge defender over here. So we would definitely be blocking, if the angle's here, this guy would be getting blocked by this man here, okay? Versus reading. Now, let's just take that same play because it's an easy one to do it with. Let's run jet, and let's gap everybody down. So we're all gapping down, and we'll go over this in a second. We're blocking gaps here, not men. Wind up being man. Now, the angle out here. Okay? Now we're reading this guy. And if this guy runs to the sweep, okay? We got the running back coming out here, let's say, and we got the quarterback here. Quarterback rides this, reads this guy, he runs out to the sweep, the quarterback takes it here. So that would be an example of reading a defender, or option. That's a run option, okay? Everybody's used to the old option where the quarterback would get the ball here, under center, he'd run down the line of scrimmage, and they'd read this guy, and you'd have the pitch back behind here. This is just an inverted way of doing that. This is taking the pitch guy, riding him, and then if he doesn't, taking the quarterback and running him from the backfield instead of down the line. It's still just run option, okay? Now, one of the most important things we're going to touch on here is man versus zone versus what I call progression blocking, okay? And I'm going to isolate this into these five guys again, okay? Now, if you guys remember from when we talked about the defensive secondary video, we numbered defenders and said, there's the number one receiver out here close to the sideline, number two. And well, for defensive linemen, it's the opposite. So when we're counting defensive linemen, we count them from the inside out, okay? And it starts to count, and this depends. So different run series, you'll start the count maybe at a different spot. You might start it at a 1 technique. You might start it at a 0, okay? Most of the time we start ours at a 0 technique. So this 0 technique here, he counts as number 1 both ways, which means this is the number 2 defensive lineman, okay, to their respective sides. Now, that's important for when we're running man schemes, okay? So let's say something like we're going to run a lead play here, okay? So lead would be, we're going to run quarterback ISO, okay? So we call simple man scheme. Guard has number 1, tackle has number 2. We're going to lead up inside. Center's responsible for the backside inside linebacker, okay? The split in a split backer set, okay? So guard has number 1, tackle has number 2. You say, well, he's heads up technique. Which way is he going, coach? This is when we say base blocking, okay? Or what I call vacation block. It means take him where he wants to go. He wants to go inside, ride him this way. He wants to go outside, ride him this way, okay? But we're going to base block that guy, take him where he wants to go. We're going to lead here, isolate our running back on the inside backer here, play side backer. Now, the center is going to execute a full block if he needs to, okay? So he has center member, and what we said in this scheme is responsible for backside inside backer. Now, if backside inside backer's up here showing hard, he can just block back, okay? If he's showing a blitz or something. But if the backside backer's walked off, we can execute what's called a full block here, okay? Now he comes, it's a cross block, he folds around, he has this guy, okay? And really what we're going to get here in this front, cutoff block backside. So a cutoff block, as opposed to a base block, means I have to take away one side here. So I have to stop this guy from crossing face. So that would be a backside cutoff block. Here we get a double team here on the backside inside backer. That's a pretty good play against that front, okay? If you can't run that one, you're probably going to lose. But that would be an example of a man blocking scheme, okay? A zone blocking scheme. Let's run something like inside zone read here, okay? And you're going to see, we're still blocking people. We're just doing it a different way. That's why I always love when people say, oh, hey, running the ball up the middle. They keep doing the same thing. Well, they're probably not doing the same thing. They're probably doing 10 different things, trying to get angles, okay? If you remember, when we talk about offense, numbers, can we get a numbers advantage? Can we get more guys at a point of attack than what they have? Angles, can we create angles where we have leverage on the defender? Meaning, if the play's going this way, can I create a scenario where most of my guys have blocks where they already have an advantage or leverage to this side? That would be a good leverage block for a play going that way, okay? Numbers, angles, matchups, okay? Do we have good matchups? Do we have, one of our studs on a guy who's not very good over here, or a receiver on a DB who's not very good, okay? And grass. When all else fails, let's get it in space and see if we can do something with the ball in space. Numbers, angles, matchups, grass, okay? There's offensive football. So now we're going to run inside zone, okay? Again, let's just block against the 3-4, okay? They got these outside backers out here, okay? So now, this is the running back. He's going to attack inside zone. He's attacking the inside leg of the play side guard. Okay. So zone blocking, now instead of assigning men and saying, hey, guard, you have number 1, tackle, you have number 2, we're going to say you have your play side gap. Okay. So we're stepping here and here. And why we always step to our play side first is because they stunt, they twist. These guys are doing different things here. They may be lined up in this gap, but crossing face and going outside, especially against a team who does a lot of movement like that. Or do what we call stemming, meaning they line up like this, and last second, this guy comes down and they slide over into a 40 front. Okay, if they're doing that kind of stuff, it's very difficult to block man to man because it changes right before the ball snaps. Okay? So we're blocking gaps. So front side A gap, and the front side or the play side, okay? The back side, away from where the play's going. So everybody's blocking their front side or play side gap here. B gap, A gap, A gap, B gap, C gap. Now that means we're not blocking somebody back here, right? So what do you think we do with that guy? Well, we read it, okay? So the quarterback opens up, his eyes go to that defender, these guys mesh here, his eyes go to whatever defender comes here. So if this guy does this and this guy comes outside, then this is the C-gap defender. But if this guy comes here, he's the C-gap defender, okay? So he's looking at whoever has the C-gap here and what they do. If this guy goes here and this guy goes here, I'm telling you the quarterback should pull it and run around the end, okay? Because there's nobody home. So let's just run a simple, let's say they go call the line here and they go call the line to the running back. So they're going like this, okay? Now, what's going to happen here? This guy's going to wind up blocking this guy. This guy's going to get it. Nice thing about zone blocking too is you get some double teams. This guy's going to get an inside hand here on him and work his way up to the next level. This guy's going to block this guy because he's angling to him. This guy's going to get an inside hand here and work up to the next level. Okay, so you get more double teams. This guy is going to step. He's going to climb. He's going to climb all the way to second level. Okay. All right. And so we're going to get a scenario like that. Okay, and the back attacks, and then when he sees a seam, and there's a certain progression that running backs work off of, okay? We tell them to work off of what play side number 1 does. Play side number 1 here went in, dove down inside like this. If we get a good cover up here, that ball's probably going to go here, okay? But there's things that the running back has to do, but that's just generally zone blocking versus man blocking. Another type of man blocking called progression blocking, okay? And that would be something like this. If you wanted to block man-to-man, I don't do a lot of this anymore, but you wanted to block man-to-man and you said something like you have your backside gap to on to second level. So now, let's just say the ball is going this way and we're blocking down. We got a fullback back here, we're kicking out here, okay? And ball carrier's coming inside, we're running off tackle here. So, do I have anybody in my backside gap? No. Do I have anybody on? Yes. Okay, to second level. Doesn't matter. You already met his thing. Do I have anybody in my backside gap? No. Do I have anybody on? No. On would be heads up on me. No. Second level. Yes. Do I have anybody in my backside gap? No. Do I have anybody on? Yes. That's a tough block, by the way. Second level. Doesn't matter. He already met his criteria with on. Backside gap, no. On, no. Second level. Backside gap, no. On, yes. That would be a progression blocking scheme. Okay, you'll hear that a lot in like youth football. In, on, down, in, on, down, in, on, down. If you've ever heard that, that's a progression scheme. Types of blocks. Reach block, and let's just take the center for a second. Ball's going this way. Reach block, okay? That would be trying to reach or pin a guy from going to the play side. Here he's doing it without leverage. So it's a block that doesn't have leverage, okay? Very difficult block for a center, even more difficult one-on-one technique, okay? Down block. Now we're blocking back to the backside gap, something like this. Good leverage block. We love down blocks versus reach blocks, always, okay, as offensive guys. Base block, we talked about that. Vacation blocking, which way does he want to go? Take him that way and displace him, meaning when he decides which way he's going, run him that way, displace him. Doesn't always have to be vertical, it has to be at least lateral displacement though. We don't want him in the backfield. A pull, obviously that's usually guards, tackles, pulls, and we do pull our center sometimes. So you have what's called a skip pull, which would be leading up through a hole, okay? Or you have a trap pull, and this could be a short trap, or this could be a long trap out of the end, okay? That's a kick out block, okay? Well, we're gonna block down and then kick out and try to run between the down block and the kick out, okay? That'd be a trap pull. Versus zone combos we already went over, okay? And a cutoff block we already went over, where you're trying to cut off the guy from going to the play side. Okay. We already showed, we can block inside zone against this front. We already did that. Other play you could run is a power play. You could run a man scheme power play, okay? You could say, hey, we want a base here. We want to come down, gap off on him. These two on these two, and how that's drawn is like this, okay? These two are blocking these two, okay? They're blocking gaps. Cut off block backside, skip pull, and he's reading the block. This guard is reading the block of this guy. So if this guy pinches down inside hard and he gets washed this way, this play's gonna go wider, okay? If he goes outside, obviously it's gonna come right up in the B gap. That's what people call power, okay? So we just block the same front. We did inside zone before, now we just did power, okay? And I could just assume, draw this, I'm gonna draw this against an over. It's a 40 over scheme here. Okay, so I can run this, climbing, okay? Now that could be a gap down scheme where we're kicking out the end and running here. That could be an inverted veer read, okay, we're blocking back and we're running jet motion and coming across and we're reading this guy with the quarterback, okay? That could be inside zone going this way. If you look, that's how we block inside zone. They would obviously step a little more laterally, but same thing, and read this guy again on the backside. That could be an H-back trap coming back with the quarterback keeping it. We're gonna fake this way. Quarterback's gonna pull the ball, he keeps it. H comes all the way back across the set, trap blocks, and we run the ball here. What I'm showing you is same blocking scheme, a lot of different plays. So there's definitely more than one way to skin a cat.